everyone. Today we have a guest speaker, Miss Sanika Surana, who popularly known as the Psycho Didi, who is here to tell us about necessary skill sets and how a budding psychologist or anyone who's interested in the field of psychology can go about pursuing psychology, what course they should go on for, what colleges they can opt for, how to go about making that decision as to which courses and shortlisting what internship they apply for and not. So today we have a little bit more about our speaker. So Sanika over here, she, as you already know, runs her page as called as the Psycho Didi. Along with that, she has completed her bachelor's in psychology from Ferguson College and is currently pursuing her master's in applied psychology from TIS Institute. Besides that, she has also conducted several live sessions, education live sessions and seminars at several colleges talking about the same thing as we would be discussing further. And she's also a very active member in the placement cell and has helped several psychology aspirants help find their way as to how to go about the field. So, Sanika, we would like to invite you here today. Thank you so much for taking our time.
Thank you so much for this overwhelmingly. I am just figuring my way out in the mental health field.
All
So
right.
yeah, I am very excited to talk about things related to mental health.
So, as Sanika, let's start off with the whole fact as to you yourself saying that even you are finding your way in. So, I think that is the number one challenge that all psychology aspirants are doing. We may be in the field, we may be in college right now, maybe pursuing the course, but still, there's so much a struggle as to understanding ki, what do we do next? What happens next? What career would we be pursuing? What will we do? So, could you please shed a little light on your own schooling and graduation and your journey with psychology so far?
All right. So I honestly wanted to become an actress. I wanted to get into Bollywood and all when I was in school. Because I was good at stage theater and stuff like that. But what I really liked was expression and how freely people could express in performing art. Slowly I got into acting, I got into theater. I wanted to get into Ferguson because of theater.
Hmm.
And then I realized that getting into Bollywood for a person who is not related to Bollywood at all is something of effort. But still, I thought I would get into Marathi theater and stuff. And I
Hmm.
was doing science, and my grades dropped because I was doing theater. So I thought I'll take arts. So arts is easy. So it will happen
Yeah.
eventually. So I will focus more
Because
on theater.
yeah, yeah.
So I took arts and I liked the studying part of it so much that I gave up theater and I started studying. And I am studying till now, perpetually studying only. So that's the story about choosing psychology. Um, that is when I got to know in 12th standard, first time I got to know about psychology. Then I took psychology in Ferguson for my bachelor's. In Ferguson also there is a competition that in first year you don't get psychology. You
Hmm.
have to again, um, you have to get good marks in first year, and then if you are
Yeah.
in the top 30, top 50, you get psychology major. So that competition was there. From there, I got a flair of competition because JEE NEET, I was completely rebellious to the idea of JEE NEET and I didn't
Hmm.
want to
Hmm.
even touch. But now I feel that extreme opinion about anything is a little unwarranted for. But yeah, that was then, and teenagers rebel was there. So yeah, so then first time I tasted competition, and first time I got out of that competition successfully. And I thought, competition is something that I feel I can do good in.
Hmm.
Then I wanted to get into this from first year itself because
Hmm.
I had heard a lot of good things about this, and the course structure was very good.
Yeah.
Then only this had fieldwork. Now, fortunately, there are many colleges which have fieldwork.
Hmm.
So that was the reason I wanted to get into this. So in the second year, by the end of the second year, I started preparing for all the entrance
Hmm.
that a BA student um, to get into any degree. Like this was my first preference, so I was preparing for this net religiously. But I wanted to give all entrance that there are. I wanted to see how tough competition can be. Just a summer vacation challenge like that. So yeah,
Your idea of summer vacation.
yeah.
uh,
It is breaking.
yeah, I think
Is
so.
my audio
For the
clear?
viewers, it may be difficult, I suppose. I can hear you well, but I think viewers के लिए वो हो रहा होगा. Is is there a bad connection or something?
I'm sitting in full Wi-Fi.
Mm, okay, ठीक है. We'll continue. If it breaks further, then we'll see what we can do about it and we'll rejoin. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah. So I prepared for all entrance that there might be. I gave GATE, CAT, DISNET, Christ. I also appeared for some. Um, what else did I appear for? Some colleges which had their own entrance exams, so those also I
Yeah.
appeared for. But then after June, whatever entrance exams were there, I couldn't appear for them further. So, and fortunately, just on the basis of test net preparation, I started clearing one entrance after another. I qualified for
Hmm.
GATE, I cleared CAT. I also gave IIM interviews for fun. I thought interviews will be practice only for this time, so okay, I'll give.
Yeah.
So like that, I started giving, and because there was no pressure to get into any MBA institute or no pressure to get any score in any entrance, I could actually perform the best I can do in
Hmm.
every entrance that I give. The only pressure I had was during this night, and that was also not from anyone. It was something that I wanted to do,
Understood.
so I was
Yeah.
a little tensed for it. But because I had prepared really thoroughly, I started in July and I gave this night in February. So no amount of pressure could, lead to bad performance because there was this
Hmm.
continuous practice that was happening every day. Um, that was there. And when I was doing all this, I also wanted to talk about what all was happening. And lockdown was there, so I couldn't really
Yeah.
talk to anyone except my mother about my preparation. And she couldn't understand what feelings I was going through.
Of
And
course.
because I was taking this up as a summer vacation challenge, she was also like, "Huh, this is not so serious thing. It's okay. You're just doing for fun." So I couldn't talk to anybody. So I wanted some space to express myself, and YouTube became that space. So I slowly started talking about all my preparation journey, what strategies am I following, what am I studying. I started teaching biopsychology, I started teaching research, statistics, and I have realized that statistics, research, and biopsych are the villains of psychology student when it comes to entrance exams. And
Yes,
I really
yes.
like those things. So I started
Hmm.
teaching and I thought it might help my batchmate. We had a research viva, and before research viva, I made reliability, validity video, and I sent it to my batchmates. And that is all I
Wow.
used to do. Small things I used to do. So slowly, then once I made a TISNET 1 month preparation video because I was preparing that time.
Yeah.
And then it caught up and it got around 20K views. So that is
Wow.
when Psycho Didi really
Emerged
blossomed
from.
into us.
Okay, that's quite an impressive journey you've had, and one thing that I feel that has gotten you through is persistence, consistency, and the hard work that you've done. Because appearing for and even though you did it as a fun challenge, you still prepared for so many tests. You gave those tests, and as a psychology student, I would like to ask you. So, like when you prepare for one particular entrance test, can you say that वो बाकियों के लिए भी apply हो जाता है? Is it more or less the same content being tested in different tests that are there for psychology?
If CAT is 100, TISNET is 62.
Oh,
Psychology
okay.
exam,
Yeah.
um, it is a good idea if we just collate the list of all the entrance exams that is there, and then we look at all the syllabus that is there in different entrance exam, and we make one list of a all pervasive syllabus. मतलब ये syllabus हर entrance exam में चलेगा, like
Hmm.
that. And then we can only focus on that syllabus. We need not like think about all these entrance exams.
Ah,
And
okay.
also knowing that there are so many options and एक में नहीं तो दूसरे में हो ही जाएगा.
हो
That
जाएगा.
feeling of हाँ, it's okay. It's not a life or death situation.
Yeah.
That also reassures and that puts the pressure low. So that is also, I think, very necessary to keep it.
So when we're talking about, like, I personally have gone through this, and I think COVID was a very difficult time because even for me, I was doing my bachelor's first and second year. I did it in a specific college. Then when it came to third year, they had very limited seats for psychology and very few. I think there was only 4 or 5 seats for the open category. So there was a lot of competition and all, and I personally did not get in. And it was COVID of a time, so it was very difficult for me to even go ahead and actually go to colleges and inquire कि आपका क्या intake and all. It became very stressful for me, with me literally thinking कि कहीं पे होगा TY का कि नहीं होगा, drop year लेना पड़ेगा and all. So I remember having that struggle and I remember feeling that way. So I really like you saying it's not a life and death situation, because students tend to exaggerate and we tend to catastrophize a little too much, giving it too much weightage की TY का. बच्चे I've heard my juniors FY से enter करके they are worried about TY में होगा कि नहीं. So I really like the fact that you say that we should keep our options open and जो बाकी भी entrances उनको देते रहना चाहिए, because I think that really helps keeping our options open. Otherwise it becomes a little too overwhelming just relying at one center कि आपका यहाँ पे ही हो जाएगा. So
And
going
when I
ahead
was,
with this,
yeah, I was saying that when I was in third year now, I was feeling कि इसमें नहीं हुआ तो फिर कुछ point ही नहीं है. But now that I am here, I feel that if you get into any good college, if you get into TISC, Christ, SNDT, Manipal, Xavier's, if you get into any good college, like there are some 14, 15 good colleges in India, I feel, which has a good syllabus and which will test you on your grit, determination, knowledge, on your ability to work hard. If
yeah.
this syllabus is something that you rigorously follow, and if you are someone who wants to take initiative in life to make a career out of whatever you are studying, then it doesn't make such a difference in the long run. Like we can also draw parallels between studying, so a psychology student studying from NIMHANS or a doctor studying from AIMS does not automatically become a good psychologist or a good doctor. And our aim is to become a good psychologist, not studying in the best college in India. So that is a big stepping stone, and that will help in fostering our environment in such a way that we might become a good psychologist. But it does not guarantee. Only our initiative and our hard work guarantees that we will.
Hard work can guarantee that. Of course, and I think that's a very beautiful thought that you've shared, that us always saying कि, because many people have this misconception कि ये college से कर ले, इस college की degree है तो फिर मतलब good, but that's not the only thing that defines you as a good psychologist. So I think that brings us to our next question, that when we talk about college, right? So as a student who is entering the field, a newbie, what should the student give more weightage to, their academic syllabus or to the certain other skills that they acquire along the way?
So I think when we were talking 3 days ago, that time also we had this conversation that students give either full weightage on skills or full weightage on academic syllabus. और दोनों को बहुत ज़्यादा importance देना is setting ourselves up on some extreme thought, and that is not something which will be very fruitful. There should be some golden balance of getting skills and having very strong academic base. From first year, so for example, I have seen a lot of students from first year, from 12th standard, wanting to do counseling internships and wanting to do counseling in 12th standard, and become full mental health professionals. And that's not going to happen. Like even if you get an internship where you will do counseling, it will boost your ego. That is all it is going to do. It is not going to make you a good doctor. As long as you don't understand where psychology is stemming from, you don't understand what Tishner did before that, what the philosophers did, then eventually what? Functionalism, structuralism, Gestalt, psychodynamic, CBT, now new REBT, narrative, all that you don't understand. Then when you do, if you don't understand the techniques and what is the rationale of whatever technique is being applied, then
Yeah,
all that is just merely ABCD, which you are rectifying. And
yes.
that doesn't make any sense. Like
Hmm.
we have to fully manifest, not manifest. We have to fully internalize all the knowledge that we are getting as students, and that is only when we can practice it properly in the internship that we are doing. So this amazing balance only eventually creates good scientist practitioners.
Good
So
psychology.
curiosity in the subject that we are studying, wanting to learn a lot more about the subject that we are studying, and not from Instagram pages, from books, from research papers. That is something that will build a very good theoretical base, and eventually then we can find gaps between हाँ भाई मुझे ये समझ में आता है अभी इसके आगे मुझे ये करके देखना है. So
हाँ.
when this comes in our mind, that is when is the right time to look for an internship. That is
Yeah.
when the internship will be most fruitful for us.
Yeah. I totally agree, and I agree with you on the point of how we need to have our ABCDs, as we say, हमारे psychology के field में हमारे schools of thought, ये सब जो functionalism and all, we need to have them in place, and it's very important. I really like the point that you made कि rational समझना जरूरी है कि as to why we are studying or why this technique or this thing exists, because blindly ratifying it is not gonna help, and merely learning how to practice is again not gonna help because you don't know why we are doing it. I really like that, and yes, I agree with you that a balanced view is something that is helpful and is definitely going to take us places. And you also mentioned the point about curiosity. So curiosity तो काफी रहती है जो newbies रहते हैं. आपने जैसे बोला 11th 12th में they want to get a counseling internship, they just want to get their hands on experience. So what is that one thing, one habit that you would suggest कि individuals from 11th 12th or even from first year start to get into relating to our field? One thing you would suggest कि ये practice आप करना start कर दो. It can be something as reading research papers or anything. So what would be your tip over there?
So a lot of reflection can see. We will read a lot of books, and matlab, that is also becoming rare nowadays. But reading a lot of books and research papers is something that everyone suggests, and this so definitely everyone should. But also reflection about why I want to be a therapist. What and very true reflection. Maybe if I was in 12th and I said I want to be a psychologist, I would write that becoming a psychologist would give me power over people.
Yeah.
Because I will get access of everyone's inner thoughts. So that is what I might thought in 12th standard. Being very true to ourselves when reflecting, and reflecting a lot about us as a mental health professional.
Yeah.
From beginning, whatever we are learning, summarizing that for ourselves, and मतलब ऐसा जैसे journal होती है ना normal, वैसे mental health professional journal, maintaining that, and maybe writing say 100 words, 150 words about what related to becoming a mental health professional came in our brain today and what feelings are related to. That will really help consolidate our stance, our beliefs, what we were believing 4 years ago, now how we have changed. It will really help build us as a therapist. And our HOD had said in our first year, no, in second year, that psychology degree, whatever you do, help others, don't help others, whatever you do, that doesn't matter. If this degree doesn't change you as a person, if it doesn't transform you as a person, then becoming a psychologist is no. And here also in this, every professor says that whatever therapy you are learning, try to look at yourself through that lens first, and then go on to help others. So, मतलब सबसे पहले खुद का घर तो फिर उसके बाद हम दूसरों को मदद करने को जाएंगे. So that I feel is a very important skill to have, skill also, and a very important way to look at the entire practice also as a therapist. Reflexivity it is called in academic terms, and it really helps looking at ourselves critically, और फिर उससे ना humility पैदा होती है. नहीं तो all of us ऐसे once we get something, if we get internship, if we get into very good college, once we get something, we get full high, and then we start talking like experts, and then we feel
Yeah.
that हमसे ज़्यादा नहीं आता. Or if we are following one therapist on Instagram, and if we follow her or him religiously, then उससे ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं नहीं हम तो अभी गॉड हो गए, ये psychoanalysis के
Yeah.
गॉड हो गए. So that is there, then it is leading to a lot of unwarranted ego. And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about ego in psychoanalysis or ego in layman terms. So to convert that into humility and also at the same time pursue excellence, that is very important. And that comes through reflection.
And I feel that I think Sanika, you and I are on the same page over here, because I've come to that's one thing that even I've come to realize. And to all the audience out here and the ones who are wanting to pursue psychology, I think Sanika has made a very important point where she says that it's important to self-reflect, because yes, self-reflection is not only for the initial years of when you're studying psychology, but it also comes in handy when you actually start working with clients. Because I've heard and I've spoken to several psychologists at a senior level, and they tell me that after every session that they have, they always take 5 minutes to reflect on the things that they think they did well and things that they think they need to improve further, because that is what, and that they have said is the key to them being a very key to being a good psychologist, because they always reflect on the session and not just एक session हुआ उसके बाद next. And I think that self reflection also helps tailor your approach to unique individuals. So I think that is a very good trait, and I love the fact that you said that ये trait जितना जल्दी हम start करेंगे उतना ज़्यादा better होता है. So that brings me to the other question though. जब graduation years होता है, like we feel, and I think you even made this point कि after a while people tend to think कि अरे I'm a god in this field, मैं psychoanalysis का god when I'm an expert and all. So I have seen this amongst several bachelor students कि once they get this degree, bachelor's in psychology, कि they feel and कि अब मेरे को सब आता है साइकोलॉजी का, एंड सम ऑफ देम माइट नॉट इवन कंसिडर मास्टर्स एंड दे माइट directly somehow try to practice, which is not really legal. So they might try to do that because they feel कि हाँ and कि चलता है, मेरे को सब आता है. They start taking these pro bono cases, as they say. So what would be your take on the fact of whether one should proceed with graduation or not?
So masters definitely right now in India, it is required to have, we can also develop bachelor's courses which are so comprehensive that they might feel confident to become a psychologist. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Even in so many master's courses, it is not comprehensive enough that students might feel confident to practice. But masters at least provides some idea into what different types of therapies are, what disorder, if you're doing clinical, then which psychopathology, what type of therapy, which type of client is more suited for what type of therapy, and also builds micro skills, how you can be just present with the client.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to help as such, if you just want to provide space. And all that, understanding all that, and going through the similar thing again and again and again for 2 years. What happens in bachelor's? We are learning new concepts, and it's just theory. Integrating theory into helping clients does not happen. It is just like fancy things we are learning. Like we are learning sociology. Uska therapy में क्या? We have no idea. If we learn psychoanalysis, मतलब वो ED को super, उसका therapy में क्या? No idea. So just theory is there. Might learn a little bit of therapy in 5th or 6th semester, but again integration and being able to conceptualize the entire thing into a therapeutic profession, that is missing in a lot of bachelor students.
Yeah.
So one is not able to do that, तो खुद को ही बहुत सारा fatigue feel होगा after a point of time. मतलब
Agree.
Let's talk about how it is unethical for clients later. First, let's talk about self. Once you start practicing, you might feel you have a lot of power and amazing you are doing. But after say 50, 60 sessions, you'll not feel like you're doing anything new. because that
Hmm.
integration only is not happening. And then looking at newer therapies like looking at narrative practices, affirmative practices, all
Yeah.
that will be so difficult because basis of being able to conceptualize the case that client is providing, that is
Yeah.
also not in place.
Hmm.
So मतलब अगर थोड़े सालों बाद ऐसा फटीग या स्टक फीलिंग नहीं चाहिए होगा ना, तो इट इज वेरी नेसेसरी कि मास्टर्स करो. दिस
Hmm.
इज फ्रॉम आर लाइक फ्रॉम द थेरेपिस्ट पॉइंट ऑफ view. And from the client point of view also, um, think about it. Like if you're doing bachelor's, you might learn a little basics of CBT in your fifth or sixth semester. Start doing CBT. But what about that approach? What if that approach doesn't suit the client
Work.
at all?
Yeah.
What if the thought is so traumatic that just working on the thought doesn't suffice? You have to
Suffice.
get into the draw. And what if you know how to be there, you know how to listen actively, you listen actively, and the client just opens up all their trauma. You don't know how to deal with it, and then you
Yeah.
are stuck, and then you're like, oh, okay, I am here. If you need anything, basically after bachelor's, what you learn to do is, I understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
You can just go on with those standard responses. Yeah.
So yeah, so active listening is not going to help people deal
Hmm.
with trauma, and you are doing so much more harm than helping. So
Then good.
that is also something that students need to consider. But definitely, I feel that after bachelor's, there are a lot of projects which go on in NGOs and in government, which are related to conducting some group activity,
Hmm.
some kind of facilitation. And these are skills that we pick up in our bachelor's. If we do some
Hmm.
project or intervention or something, if
Hmm.
we do, then we can pick these skills up in our bachelor's, and this we can translate into volunteerism. Like if, for example, in Pune there is the institute called Gnan Prabodhini, and they have this thing called Yuva Sathi Prakalpa. So Yuva
Okay.
Sathi basically is a program where they train social work and psychology students to conduct
Hmm.
sessions on sex education, self-regulation, um,
Okay.
gender gender equality, and other things like that, personality development and things. And then you have to go to a school which is not an urban school and conduct those sessions with 8, 9, 10 students.
Hmm.
This is not therapy, but this is also not completely unrelated to mental health. This will help
Yeah.
you use your counseling skills, but you are not counseling. So, such areas are where bachelor students, if they want to do a job, then such areas are where bachelor students can, get some hands-on experience before masters if they want some taste of how the profession can look like. So, this is something that bachelor students can get.
Okay, so even the point where you made कि ऐसे NGOs होते हैं and it's just not always necessary that mental health internship just means doing counseling or just taking clients and starting off with counseling. Even such NGO initiatives of you going ahead and giving talks on certain important life skills. We call them as life skills. These kind of sessions are also important. So I think that brings us to the next question of how do we identify what internships do we go ahead with, because there are a lot of internships out there on Instagram. Every 2 minutes you see ads like you can do 1 month ka REBT course of 5 sessions and you'll become an REPD expert and all. So there's a lot of internships coming in. So how do we as students identify कि कौन सी internship करनी चाहिए नहीं?
Yeah, I mean, that is so a scam only, that you become a IBM practitioner in 5 days.
Yeah.
I feel that becoming a psychotherapist is very like, it is a sadhana.
Yeah.
You have to be in it for years to really get some flavor of it and to um, become a flavor of psychotherapy yourself.
Yeah.
मतलब जैसे डांस में विशारद वगैरह करने के लिए सालों साल प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ती है अंडर सम गुरु एंड देन यू बिकम
Agreed. Yeah.
विशारद एंड देन यू कैन डू अरंगेत्रम. नहीं, अरंगेत्रम you can do before also, but you have to have some kind of expertise. That is
Yeah.
what psychotherapy is like. And if you are someone who is looking for a quick fix, if you are looking for becoming a counselor in 2 months, then maybe
Hmm.
psychotherapy is not something for you. Matlab,
Hmm.
maybe you can get life coaching or that also you have to practice to be expert at. But maybe some other profession which involves consulting or consultation on other aspects of business or
Yeah.
something like that. But
Hmm.
not psychotherapy. So once this myth is debunked, I think it is very important to accept कि बैचलर्स लेवल पे हमको किसी भी इंटर्नशिप में साइकोथेरेपी करने को मिलेगा क्लाइंट पे, ऐसा नहीं होने
ये
वाला। और अगर
होगा.
ऐसा हो रहा है तो वो इंटर्नशिप में कुछ गलत है, मतलब ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए।
Some sort of, yeah. It's not authentic to be saying, yeah.
ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। फर्स्ट ईयर में तो साइकोथेरेपी के बारे में मतलब ऐसे वो करने को लगना, ऐसा फील होना, दैट इज ऑल्सो अ लॉट ऑफ रशिंग योरसेल्फ।
Hmm.
फर्स्ट ईयर में one only comes into the field of psychology.
Yeah.
Maybe 11th, 12th, someone has studied. Maybe they have not studied. So first year, we will consider everyone who gets into the field of psychology. Everyone
Hmm.
who does get into the field of psychology, it is very necessary that the basics are clear, like crystal clear. The history of psychology, basics of brain biology. मतलब
Hmm.
ऐसा शेरिफ एंड एटकिंसन की बुक की ऐसे सिरेली या मॉर्गन कोई एक बुक पूरा ऐसे दिमाग में होना चाहिए. And
Yeah.
if those concepts are clear, then curiosity will develop.
Hmm.
Every book that I mentioned has some thinking box or something which is outside the mainstream knowledge that we
Yeah.
get, and th- those boxes will help you think little further in the topic that you are studying. And whatever you are thinking, then you can write that down. You can go and search more. You can talk to more people about it. This writing whatever you're thinking or learning down also helps in honing your writing skills. Having
Hmm.
very concise, precise writing skills has a lot of functionality. Eventually, it helps in case conceptualization.
Yeah.
If you want to build your own setup, then it also helps. Like being a good copywriter also helps in developing your own social media presence. Blogs, if you're consistent in blogs, then that is also a good idea to
Go
just
about.
display. So that is something that you can do in first year. Apart from that, it always helps to have skills like Excel, video editing, Canva. ये तो मतलब all pervasive first year skills है, ये सबके पास होने चाहिए.
होने चाहिए.
uh,
Agree.
तो ये स्किल्स डेवलप करना और ये सब यूज करके इफ यू आर क्रिएटिव, तो ये सब यूज करके कैन यू document your psychology learning journey in some way, which will help others also understand how they can learn better. So
Yeah.
this is something that you can do in first year. If you have read Cicerelli or Sheridan Atkinson, if you have read that,
Hmm.
and if you are like really interested in something and want to get into the depth of it, let's say if you are really interested in research process, I
Hmm.
hardly feel that some people are very difficult.
Very
But okay,
beautiful. Yeah.
I'll find some more interesting topic, abnormal psychology. So if you're really interested in it, and if your bachelor's degree is not going to teach, then in first year you can enroll yourself in some training program or some course which will
Hmm.
expose you to the knowledge of abnormal psychology.
Yeah.
So that is, but only do that if your bachelor's degree is not going to teach you that. नहीं तो बहुत बार क्या होता है बैचलर्स डिग्री में देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स दैट आर गोइंग टू बी टॉट, बट पीपल विल जस्ट मतलब ऐसा कुछ महत्व ही नहीं है बैचलर्स डिग्री को. हाँ, ऑल दैट इज नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट एट ऑल. दिस इंटर्नशिप आई एम गेटिंग, नो दिस इज परफेक्ट.
हाँ.
तो
Discredited. हाँ.
this is the first year whatever I feel that can help in good understanding of psychology as a subject. Also, slowly starting to form your LinkedIn account, getting in touch with
Yeah.
people who uh, are very good in the field that they are working in mental health, and just getting to know their stories. of how they did what they did, with no intention of getting an internship, can also help build a lot of connections. And people want to tell their story. If we can really practice our listening skills and just be there to listen to people who have learned a lot more than we have, then one, though we will get to know a lot, we will get so many stories that can inspire us, and two, we will build connections which we might be able to leverage eventually when we
Eventually.
become a
Yeah.
little more adult. So this is what I have been doing in my first year. In my second year, what I did was we were taught psychological testing and a little bit of research also. So I
Hmm.
focused a lot on SPSS, and I also made sure that I knew in and out of SPSS. Once you know
Hmm.
SPSS and once you know Advanced Excel, then you become
Hmm.
eligible to apply for any research internship. There are
Hmm.
research internships in many IITs. There are research internships in NGOs which carry out research. Or even if you build good connections on LinkedIn, then there will be a lot of psychologists who want to carry out their own individual research.
Hmm.
So all this will help in. Someone is asking websites for more.
We,
Guys, I'm not
yeah.
going to talk about this net today. Okay. So,
We can
yeah.
have, we'll be having a 5 minutes Q&A session after the live. So you guys can send in your questions, then she'll answer it, Abhi. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
go ahead, Sanika.
Yeah, so what I was saying that people are there who want to also conduct individual research,
Hmm.
and then them you can assist and eventually get some experience.
Hmm.
So those are the research internships that one can get. There are also a lot of institutes which have practicals in their second year. I didn't have practicals in second year, but if you have practicals in second year, then making sure that you spend a lot of time in really learning how to build rapport. Um, you spend a lot of time in building your micro skills, like listening, paraphrasing, being there for the person, like really present, asking open-ended questions, and all that. If you then maybe there are some NGOs sessions or just
Hmm. Hmm.
sharing circles. Those are some things that you can, eventually assist. Matlab, facilitation, so people won't let you do in second year itself, but assistance, co-facilitation, these are things that you might be able to get. If these things one is able to get, then doing it for free also is it's okay. But if we are asked to do graphic designing or making Canva posters continuously, and
Yeah.
if you are in third year also, and if you are
Hmm.
only doing social media marketing for
Hmm.
any company, then make sure that you charge a little bit for it.
Hmm.
Also, because you should be able to confidently ask for money from companies if you are working
Yeah.
for their social media. It is very necessary that because then next first year you will
Hmm.
have this confidence कि हाँ मैं तो कर सकती हूँ या कर सकता हूँ और इसलिए मैं कर सकती हूँ इसलिए मैं पै सकती हूँ.
So
So
you will have, yeah.
that is a flow that builds. So this is what I was talking about in second year. And then in third year also, I had practicals where I had to conduct psychometric tests on students.
Hmm.
And then that also gave me a taste of how to take case history. And
Huh.
all this taking practical seriously, taking whatever we are taught in college seriously, even if professors don't teach seriously, if we take things seriously, it will be very beneficial and we might save out on a lot of money that we spend in courses, um, in like in learning various things. So
Hmm.
that taking case history, building facilitation skills, doing group facilitation, taking activities. A lot of colleges have this project where they have to do facilitation and pre-test, post-test kind of an intervention,
And
or they
intervention.
have to do research, or they have to do some internship. So if you are into any of that, then building that relevant skill
Hmm.
and or some kind of observership internship. Um, Someone is saying, why did I not hear all these tips?
Well, it's never too late, so we can still keep on applying this.
Yeah. So these things, like building these skills, then can help you confidently go to practitioners and say, "Ki, dude, see, I have not say dude, like, ma'am, I have these things in place, and I think now I am ready to look at what is there further after my bachelor's, and I would like to." So, an ideal time to do an observership internship is the sixth semester or the summers of sixth semester. पूरा degree करने के बाद.
So
तब
after
तक
somewhere like TY में या TY के बाद basically.
तब तक don't even like rush it. Do all this, and this will make sure कि you are so robust as a psychology student.
Yeah.
And if all this is done, no, there will be no need to prepare for psychology entrances separately. मास्टर्स के एंट्रेंस का
Okay.
प्रिपरेशन ऐसे ही हो जाएगा, मास्टर का फर्स्ट सेम भी ऐसे ही हो जाएगा.
ऐसे
तो
हो जाए.
we will become so robust as a student that we might not get this वो बोलते हैं ना, there should be delayed gratification. So we might not get immediate dopamine hit of getting clients and doing therapy session with clients. But when we really become a therapist and when we do therapy sessions, people will be very satisfied with the amount of knowledge we have and the amount of care we can provide as well.
That's true. And I think that I really like it's very important for us to understand कि all of these skills that we build along our way, starting from 11 till the way you go to masters, all of these are somewhere shaping us and are creating exposure. So just internship का मतलब सिर्फ KCST MSc लेना नहीं होता है. There is just so much more that you can do right from the start. So I really like that point of you emphasizing on that because many students have this misconception कि internship मतलब observership directly, just like wanting to jump to that. So it's very good that you are shedding light on the fact that even basic skills that you have, presentation skills, Canvas skills are also something. Uh, and we have several people in the audience agreeing with you, saying that they wish you had told them this before. So I think, yeah, that brings us to the end of our session of understanding as to what the internships you can go for. And for our audience, we would like to tell you that Mind Efficient is also offering internships to both undergrad and graduates, wherein we emphasize on skills training, you get practical exposure and much more. So for more details as to what these kind of internships entail, please stay tuned as we'll be posting it on our page and you can follow us and be updated about those internships. So I think we have several questions here. So audience, you can post your questions in the comment and Sanika will answer those. I think we have a few. Someone had asked that for IO psychology, would you recommend one to do masters first or directly an MBA?
Masters first or directly an MBA? It really depends. Like, do you want to get into the people related jobs or do you want to get into organization related jobs? Because IO psychologists are usually people centered and care a lot more about employees than the organization. And HR people who are in the core HR, their job is to make sure that there are more profits for the organization. And this also entails that the employees are happy and eventually it profits the organization. But the center point is the organization. So that is the difference between the job prospect. In India, that difference is very thin line, like it is not seen so much. Money wise, it really helps to. It depends again on how you take initiative and what kind of job profile do you get into, what kind of work have you done in your master's. So all that factors into what kind of placement you will get. But if you want to just look at, matlab, if I should just invisibilize you as a person and just look at the degree, then I think that an MBA might lead to more money and just IO psychology degree might lead to initially less money related jobs. But 5 years down the line, depending, considering that you are a very enthusiastic and motivated person, 5 years down the line, both degrees won't make any difference. Both will be making the same money.
All right. I guess the other question that we had was related to TISNet mock. So I think Sanika herself has several videos on her own page about those. So you can send it across, and we'll send it across to her and she can answer. We'll post the answer on our page. There aren't any questions. If you guys have any more questions, then you can DM it to us at Mind Efficient. You can follow our page, you can DM it to us, and we will share that question with Sanika and she'll get back to you with the answer. Thank you so much, Sanika, for taking out time and for this insightful session. Our audience as well as me, as someone who's currently pursuing psychology, it was very insightful as to how I can go about it. And your point on self-reflection is something that I think I'm going to carry with me till the last day of my practice, because it's a very, very important skill in my opinion as well. So thank you so much for enlightening us, and we hope to have you again for such more insights.
Thank you so much for calling. And I also feel that while one though you are such a good host, and I see you using micro skills so nicely. You are paraphrasing everything that I am saying, and yeah, and that also makes me want to talk more and add more to the conversation. So it is a good skill on your part that you were able to
Thank you
keep
so much. It's very reassuring coming from you. So thank you so much for that. And I'll see you again. We'll connect with you again and have another session soon. All right then.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye everyone. Bye.